I want you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is not for everyone. This is for the ones who are tired of excuses, tired of the noise, and tired of watching life happen to them while they sit on the sidelines. This is for the ones who feel a fire inside, a hunger, a drive that the world does not understand, a hunger that pushes you to work harder, grind longer, and sacrifice more than anyone else is willing to. You are here because you know deep down that greatness is not given. It is earned. It is not a product of luck, talent, or opportunity. It is forged in the shadows, in the silence, in the moments when nobody is watching and the world doesn't care. I need you to understand this from the very start. Your journey will not be easy. It will not be comfortable. The people around you will doubt you. They will laugh at your grind. They will question your focus. And most importantly, sometimes you will even doubt yourself. You will be tempted to give in, to quit, to settle for less, to chase attention instead of results. But what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is simple. The extraordinary endure. The extraordinary grind in silence. They sacrifice without complaint, and they let their results speak for them. This speech is for those who are ready to understand that silence is not weakness. It is power. That patience is not waiting. It is strategy. That discipline is not restriction. It is freedom. I want you to feel it. I want you to feel the weight of your own potential, the fire in your chest, the capability inside you that the world cannot see yet. Right now, you might feel stuck, overwhelmed, or underappreciated. That's fine. That is exactly where the seeds of your greatness are planted. Every struggle you have faced, every late night, every sacrifice, every doubt, or every failure, they are all fuel. They are all shaping you into the person who is capable of achieving more than you have ever imagined. But to reach that level, you must commit. You must decide that from this moment on, nothing will distract you. Nothing will break your focus, and nothing will stop you from becoming the person you were born to be. This is not about inspiration. This is about action. This is not about cheering yourself up for a moment. This is about transforming your mind, your habits, and your life so deeply that the world cannot ignore you. You are about to learn how to protect your focus, build your resilience, master your discipline, and use struggle as your weapon. You are about to discover the secret power of striving in silence. The power that allows you to work when nobody is watching, to sacrifice when nobody cares, and to achieve results that will speak louder than anything you could ever say. So I need you to promise me something. Don't blink. Don't doubt. Don't allow distraction to steal this moment. Engage every part of yourself, because by the end of this message, your mind will be sharpened, your focus will be heightened, and your hunger for greatness will be unstoppable. You will understand why silence is your weapon, discipline is your armor, and results are your roar. Your time is now. Your moment is waiting. And it all begins the moment you decide to stop talking and start grinding. Strive in silence, because when you do, the world will have no choice but to notice, and your life will never be the same again. Most people spend their lives talking about what they're going to do, what they plan to achieve, what they dream of accomplishing. They fill their conversations with big promises, bold statements, and flashy intentions. But when you look at their lives, there's nothing to show for it. Words alone do not create change. Words can inspire, they can motivate, but they do not build. Words do not move the needle in your life. Only action does. If you want to stand out, if you want to be remembered, if you want to leave a mark that cannot be ignored, you have to do what others are only talking about. You have to let your actions speak so loudly that they drown out every doubt, every criticism, every mocking voice that has ever told you that you couldn't make it. When you act, you create momentum. Momentum doesn't come from saying I will. It comes from waking up every day and doing. It comes from showing up, grinding in the shadows, and putting in the work while the world sleeps or scrolls on their phones. The person who achieves greatness isn't the one posting motivational quotes or telling their friends about the steps they're taking. They're the one whose life becomes the proof, the living evidence that the grind works. Action transforms potential into results. Dreams without execution are like seeds buried in concrete. You can water them with hope. You can talk to them with intention. But unless you break through the barrier and dig your hands into the soil of effort, nothing will grow. Think about it. The world is full of talkers. People love to give advice they never follow, to criticize what they cannot do themselves, to plan endlessly while their peers quietly move ahead. They are experts in excuses, in justification, in theory, in philosophy, but they are not experts in results. You cannot allow yourself to be distracted or discouraged by the noise of talkers. Your job is to act. Your job is to show up. Your job is to grind day in and day out, regardless of who is watching, regardless of who believes in you, and regardless of how long it takes. The world does not reward intention. It rewards execution. The world does not celebrate what you said you would do. It celebrates what you actually did. Action speaks louder than words because words are cheap. Anyone can say they want to succeed. Anyone can dream about wealth, respect, or power, but only those who are willing to endure the pain, the struggle, and the lonely nights of relentless effort will see their words transformed into reality. You might feel invisible when you work silently, like nobody notices. Like your effort doesn't matter, but that is exactly the point. Greatness is built when no one is looking. It is built when you resist the temptation to announce every small victory, when you resist the need for validation at every step, when you act quietly, deliberately, and consistently. You develop a power that talkers will never understand, a power born not from recognition, but from relentless self-mastery. There is a psychological truth here. Talking about your goals gives you a temporary sense of satisfaction, a false reward. You feel like you're moving forward simply because you've shared your intention, but the reality is nothing has changed in the world. It is an illusion of progress. That illusion is dangerous because it lulls people into complacency. They feel productive while remaining stagnant. True progress, the kind that transforms your life, doesn't allow for illusions. It demands that you take action, that you sacrifice comfort, that you endure struggle and embrace discomfort until the work itself becomes your voice. Your achievements will speak for themselves, and they will speak louder than anything you could have ever said. When you act instead of speaking, you create respect without asking for it. You inspire without giving a speech. You command attention without making noise. There is something magnetic about a person whose life embodies their words. Others may boast, may post, may brag, but the silent doer doesn't need tea. Oh, results are undeniable. Results are unarguable. While talkers are still debating whether they have what it takes, the silent grinders are already winning, already climbing, already conquering the very obstacles that others are only thinking about. Action is the language of achievement. And when you master it, you no longer need permission. You no longer need validation, and you no longer need anyone else's approval to define your worth. And make no mistake, action requires courage. It requires you to face failure without complaint, to push past fear without hesitation, to take risks that nobody else understands. Talk is safe. Planning is safe. Dreaming is safe. But acting puts you in the arena where results are born and legends are made. Acting exposes you to setbacks, to judgment, to struggle, but it is the only way to transform your vision into reality. You cannot remain on the sidelines hoping the world notices your intentions. You must enter the battlefield of life and fight with relentless effort, and your results will shout your victory louder than any words ever could. Action also teaches humility. When you work quietly, you learn to respect the process. You learn that success is rarely instant, that the grind is often lonely, and that validation comes from accomplishment, not applause. You begin to understand that your value is measured not by how loudly you announce your ambitions, but by how diligently you execute them. And when you finally rise, when your efforts compound, when your life changes in ways words could never predict, the contrast will be striking. The talkers will be left behind, still busy with their empty promises, while you stand on the foundation you built silently, powerfully, and unshakably. Let your work scream. Let your dedication be louder than the opinions around you. Let your results shatter doubt and disbelief. The world doesn't need more talkers. It needs doers. It needs warriors who understand that action is the ultimate language of ambition. It doesn't matter if no one believes in you today. It doesn't matter if the crowd laughs at your quiet grind. It doesn't matter if recognition hasn't arrived yet. What matters is that you move. What matters is that you act. What matters is that you refuse to let your dreams exist only in your head. When you internalize this truth, when action becomes your default, when words become secondary, when you learn to let effort replace explanation, you will find a new level of power. You will find focus. You will find results. You will understand that success is not about telling people what you were going to do. It's about showing them that you already did it. You will understand that every step you take, every hour you grind, every sacrifice you endure is a declaration louder than any speech. Your life will become a living testament to your ambition, your discipline, and your will. In the end, talkers will keep talking, doubters will keep doubting, and the world will continue to reward those who act. The question is, will you be one of them? Will you let your words remain empty? Or will you step into the silence, into the grind, into the relentless pursuit of results, and let your actions speak so loudly that they leave no room for doubt, no room for comparison, and no room for excuses? Because action, my friend, will always speak louder than words, and it is the only language that leads to greatness. Consistency is the quiet force that separates the dreamers from the doers, the ordinary from the extraordinary, and the hopeful from the unstoppable. So many people want success. So many people chase the idea of greatness, but they misunderstand the core principle. It's not the big moves that define your life. It's the small, relentless actions repeated over and over again. The problem is most people are looking for instant results. They are looking for overnight breakthroughs. They are looking for the moment when all their effort suddenly explodes into recognition and reward. That moment rarely comes. Real achievement, real power, and real transformation are built in the repetition, the daily grind, the invisible effort that nobody sees, but that slowly, inexorably shapes the outcome of your life. Consistency is the engine behind every great story. Without it, all ambition dies. With it, all obstacles can be overcome. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't make headlines or viral videos. It doesn't get likes or applause, say. But the person who understands consistency knows that every small step, repeated daily, compounds into monumental results. The person who shows up every single day, even when tired, even when discouraged, even when nobody believes in them, is the person who will eventually rise above everyone else. You can have talent, you can have ideas, you can have opportunities, but if you are inconsistent, it doesn't matter. Talent fades without practice. Ideas die without execution. Opportunities vanish when you are not prepared to act repeatedly and without fail. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the silent work that makes success inevitable. Think about it. Success is not about how hard you work once. Success is about what you do over time. You can have a week of extreme effort, a month of grinding like a man possessed, and it might feel incredible. But if it isn't repeated, if it isn't part of a rhythm, it will not last. Life does not reward bursts of passion. It rewards discipline sustained over years, over decades, over the countless invisible moments where nobody is cheering for you. You might not see the results today or tomorrow or even a year from now, but if you are consistent, the work is being done. The foundation is being built. And when the breakthrough comes, it will hit so hard, so fast, and so decisively that nobody will be able to deny it. Consistency teaches patience and perseverance. It forces you to understand that mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. Every single day you show up, every single day you put in the effort, you are investing in your future self. You are building resilience, stamina, and skill. And here's the thing about life, it will test you. Life will try to convince you to quit, to take shortcuts, to abandon your routine when it feels too hard, too boring, too slow. But consistent effort does not bow to temptation. It does not care about feelings or circumstances. It does not require recognition or praise. It simply moves forward relentlessly like the tide wearing down a mountain. You may not notice the progress immediately, but the world will notice eventually. And when it does, it will recognize a force that was unstoppable because it was unyielding. Consistency also builds confidence. Every day you act in alignment with your goals. Every day you execute. You reinforce the belief that you are capable, that you are disciplined, and that you can handle whatever life throws at you. There is a psychological power in showing up for yourself repeatedly. When you skip days, when you falter, when you rely on motivation alone, you teach your mind that you are dependent on external factors. But when you are consistent, when you create your own internal rhythm of action, you prove to yourself that your drive, your willpower, and your focus are stronger than any excuse, stronger than any obstacle, stronger than any doubt. You stop waiting for inspiration and start creating your OWN reality through persistent effort. One of the most important aspects of consistency is the compounding effect. Small actions done repeatedly might feel insignificant in the moment. You might wonder if brushing up your skills for 30 minutes every day, or waking up early to train, or quietly working on your craft in the shadows really matters. It does. Every day adds up. Every action compounds. Every repetition strengthens your habits, your mindset, and your abilities. A single day of effort may go unnoticed. A single week may seem trivial, but over months and years, the compounded effect of consistent work produces exponential growth. The person who is consistent outperforms the person who is inconsistent, regardless of talent, luck, or initial advantages. It is the steady, unwavering dedication that builds empires, transforms careers, and changes destinies. Consistency also develops discipline, which is the backbone of achievement. Discipline is the ability to act even when you don't feel like it, to push when every part of you wants to rest, to continue when the easy path is to quit. But discipline alone is not enough if it isn't consistent. Discipline is tested daily, and every day you pass that test, you reinforce your capacity for greatness. Every time you honor your schedule, every time you maintain focus despite distractions, every time you follow through instead of giving up, you are sharpening a weapon that nobody else can take from you. That weapon is your relentless consistency. And it is more powerful than talent, more powerful than luck, and more powerful than excuses. Most people fail because they expect results without sustained effort. They want recognition without repetition. They want transformation without daily action. They fall into the trap of comparing themselves to others, thinking that someone else's momentary success is proof that they are behind. But the truth is that consistent effort is invisible for a long time. You may be overlooked, you may be doubted, you may be laughed at, but your silent, persistent work is shaping a future that nobody else sees. And when the moment comes, when the fruits of your consistency emerge, it will not just be success, it will be undeniable proof that you were building while others were talking, dreaming, or giving up. Consistency also creates momentum, and momentum is a force that is almost impossible to stop. The more you act, the more your confidence grows. The more your confidence grows, the more you push. The more you push, the more opportunities open up. Momentum feeds itself, and it turns ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. One consistent day leads to another. 1 week compounds into a month. 1 year compounds into mastery. And before you know it, your life has transformed, not because of luck, not because of genius, but because of your unwavering, silent, daily commitment to showing up, grinding, and executing no matter what. If you truly want to change your life, if you truly want to rise above mediocrity, you have to embrace consistency. You have to understand that your small, repeated actions matter more than flashy bursts of effort. You have to wake up each day ready to do what others won't, to push when others quit, to grind when others rest, and to believe that the work you do today, even if it seems invisible, is building a legacy that will last far beyond you. Consistency is the silent roar of progress, the heartbeat of mastery, and the only force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary legends. Every time you act, every day you grind, every small step you take toward your vision compounds into unstoppable power. Do not seek shortcuts. Do not seek recognition. Do not seek applause. Seek the daily discipline to do the work, and the results will eventually scream for you. The person who is consistent does not depend on luck, motivation, or approval. They depend on themselves. And that is why, in the end, they always rise. The world is loud. Everywhere you turn, there are opinions, distractions, advice you didn't ask for, and noise that pulls you away from the very things that matter. Most people never achieve greatness because they are too busy listening to the voices of doubt, criticism, and irrelevant chatter. They let their attention be hijacked by social media, gossip, comparisons, and the endless stream of things screaming for their focus. Avoiding the noise is not optional for someone who wants to rise above the mass. It is a requirement. It is the difference between being average and being unstoppable. If you want to reach a level that others can only dream of, you must learn to protect your mind, your time, and your energy from everything that does not serve your mission. Noise is everywhere, and it comes in many forms. There is the noise of people trying to tell you what you can't do, what you shouldn't try, or what's impossible. There is the noise of social media, scrolling endlessly through curated lives, comparing yourself to people who are not in your arena, people whose grind you don't see, people whose struggles are hidden behind filters and highlights. There is the noise of self-doubt, that inner voice that asks, are you really capable? Do you really deserve this? There is the noise of fear disguised as logic, the distractions of convenience, comfort, and complacency. All of this noise is designed to pull you away from action, to confuse you, and to make you settle for less than your potential. The moment you allow the noise to enter your mind, your focus fractures. The moment your focus fractures, your progress slows. The moment your progress slows, the people who are consistent, disciplined, and silent in their grind begin to pass you by. Avoiding the noise is not about being disconnected from the world entirely. It's about creating a mental fortress around your mission, your vision, and your goals. It's about learning to recognize what matters and what doesn't, and giving our energy only to the things that push you forward. This is where discipline meets intelligence. You cannot control everything in life, but you can control what you allow to enter your mind. You can control who you spend your time with, what media you consume, and which voices influence your decisions. You can choose to protect your attention like it is the most valuable asset in the world, because it is. Every hour you spend distracted, doubting, comparing, or reacting to someone else's noise is an hour you are stealing from your future. Every day you allow it, you get farther from your goals. Avoiding the noise also means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It means walking away from drama, from unnecessary debates, from situations and people that drain your energy instead of building it. Most people fail because they try to do everything and be everywhere. They get caught up in other people's agendas, other people's opinions, other people's timelines. But the person who is serious about their vision understands that time is finite, energy is finite, and focus is sacred. Every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. Avoiding the noise requires the courage to set boundaries, to ignore the critics, to stay away from distractions that feel urgent but are irrelevant. It requires a commitment to your own path, even when the world is shouting at you to deviate. The truth is, greatness does not happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows. It happens when nobody is watching, when nobody is clapping, when nobody is commenting. It happens when you refuse to be distracted by the applause, the attention, or the constant validation that the world offers. Avoiding the noise allows you to create your own rhythm, your own momentum, and your own identity. when you are not reacting to every external stimulus, when you are not trying to keep up with everyone else's pace, you become unshakable. You become a force that is defined not by opinion, but by action. You become someone who cannot be stopped because your focus is absolute and your energy is reserved for the things that actually matter. Noise also amplifies fear. The more you listen to people telling you what you can't do, the more your mind begins to believe it. The more you consume content that tells you the world is impossible, the more you start to see limitations instead of opportunities. But when you avoid the noise, when you protect your mind, you allow clarity to emerge. You allow your own voice, your own instincts, and your own vision to guide you. You start to understand what is possible for you, not what is possible, according to someone else. You start to focus on progress instead of comparison, on discipline instead of distraction, on action instead of chatter. Avoiding the noise is not easy. It requires awareness, courage, and relentless practice. You will feel the pull to check social media, to engage in arguments, to respond to every comment, to give energy to every opinion. But every time you resist, you strengthen your focus. Every time you ignore the irrelevant, you reinforce your commitment to the mission. Every time you prioritize your vision over validation, you get stronger. The most successful people in history did not achieve greatness by listening to everyone else. They achieved it by listening to their own calling, by working in silence, and by letting their results speak louder than any distraction. Silence is powerful. Avoiding the noise does not mean you are isolated. It means you are deliberate. It means you are intentional with your time, your focus, and your energy. It means you have trained yourself to recognize what serves your purpose and what doesn't, and you refuse to let anything derail your progress. Noise is temporary. Clarity lasts. Noise is external. Focus is internal. Noise is fleeting. Discipline is forever. The person who can block out the chaos around them and stay true to their own path becomes unstoppable, untouchable, and unbreakable. Ultimately, avoiding the noise is about respect. Respect for yourself, your goals, and your future. It is about understanding that you are building something bigger than the moment, bigger than the distractions, bigger than the opinions that try to pull you down. You will face critics, doubters, and people who don't understand your vision. That is fine. Their noise has no power over you unless you give it power. Protect your mind, protect your energy, protect your focus. Stay in the shadows, work while they talk. And when the results come, let them speak. Let your life be the answer to every question, the proof to every doubt, and the evidence that avoiding the noise and protecting your focus is the most powerful strategy in the pursuit of greatness. The people who achieve extraordinary levels of success are not louder than everyone else. They are quieter, more disciplined, and more selective with their energy. They are not distracted by the opinions of the world. They are focused on the work that matters. They're not trying to impress anyone. They are trying to master themselves. Avoiding the noise allows you to build momentum, to grow skills, to strengthen your mind, and to prepare for the moment when the world finally sees what you've been doing in silence. If you want to be unstoppable, you must learn to avoid the noise. You must train your mind like a weapon, your focus like a fortress, and your energy like a fuel that is reserved for what truly matters. You must stop reacting to every distraction, stop caring about every opinion, and stop giving power to everything that does not serve your purpose. Protect your focus, protect your vision, protect your grind. And when the time comes, when your results finally emerge, it will not be the noise of others that defines you. It will be the power, the precision, and the unstoppable force of a life lived in focus, in silence, and in relentless action. Patience is not weakness. Patience is not waiting idly for things to happen while life passes you by. Patience is a weapon, a power, and a force that most people underestimate because they confuse it with laziness or passivity. The truth is, patience is the silent strength that allows the relentless, disciplined, and focused person to outlast everyone else. It is the ability to endure, to persist, and to trust the process even when results are delayed, even when the world is shouting that it should have happened yesterday, even when doubt creeps in and tries to steal your belief. Patience is the weapon of the wise, the strategy of those who understand that success is not instant and that greatness is forged in the shadows of time and endurance. Most people fail because they are impatient. They want quick results, instant recognition, and immediate validation. They want to see the reward before they have put in the work. They want the applause before they have earned it. They get frustrated when success doesn't come fast enough, and when it doesn't, they quit. But those who understand patience know that timing is everything. They know that every day they show up, every effort they make, every sacrifice they endure is a deposit into a future that the impatient cannot see. Patience is the ability to plant the seeds, water them daily, and trust that the harvest will come. It is the confidence to keep grinding in silence, knowing that time is an ally to those who refuse to give up. Patience is also the ability to resist the distractions of immediate gratification. The world today is built on instant pleasure, instant updates, instant validation, and instant success stories. Social media has trained people to measure progress in likes, comments, and shares. But life does not reward instant gratification. Life rewards persistence, endurance, and the ones who can endure the slow, sometimes painful process of growth. Patience allows you to ignore the fake urgency of the world and focus on what truly matters. It teaches you to trust your plan, to stay the course, and to resist the temptation to take shortcuts that will only compromise your foundation. Every time you choose patience over impulse, you are strengthening your discipline, sharpening your focus, and building an advantage that impatient people will never have. Patience also develops resilience. When you are patient, you are prepared for the setbacks, obstacles, and failures that will inevitably come. You understand that nothing worth achieving comes without struggle. You understand that the people who reach the top are not necessarily the ones with the most talent, the most luck, or most connections. They are the ones who endure, who persist, who keep moving forward when everyone else has given up. Patience allows you to absorb disappointment without losing your momentum. It allows you to endure criticism without quitting. It allows you to keep working even when the results are invisible to the world and sometimes even to yourself. Every day of consistent effort, every day of silent grinding is a testament to your ability to wield patience as a weapon. And it sets you apart from everyone else who abandons their goals at the first sign of struggle. Another aspect of patience is perspective. Impatience comes from the inability to see beyond the present moment. Patience allows you to zoom out, to understand that life is not about a single day, a single week, or even a single year. Life is about decades of effort, growth, and progress. It's about the compounding of small, consistent actions over time. The impatient see only the temporary discomfort, the slow progress, the lack of immediate results. The patient see the trajectory, the pattern, and the eventual outcome that their consistent actions will create. Patience allows you to trust the unseen work, to respect the process, and to act with confidence, knowing that persistence is more powerful than speed. Patience is also tied to strategy. Acting hastily, rushing through tasks, or seeking shortcuts is often the result of impatience, and it usually leads to mistakes, wasted effort, and setbacks. The understand that the right move at the right time is always more effective than a fast move with reckless intention. Patience allows you to observe, to learn, and to position yourself for maximum impact. It allows you to wait for the right opportunities, the right timing, and the right environment. Impatience produces scattered energy, half-baked efforts, and shallow victories. Patience produces mastery, preparation, and results that are durable, sustainable, and undeniable. Moreover, patience strengthens your mental fortitude. It trains your mind to endure discomfort, uncertainty, and delay without giving up. Life will test you constantly, and the world is designed to frustrate the impatient. Opportunities may be delayed. Recognition may be slow. Progress may seem invisible. But the patient person does not waver. They understand that delayed results are not denied results. They are results that are being earned silently, deliberately, and methodically. The ability to maintain focus, motivation, and effort over long periods of time is a skill that impatient people never develop, and it becomes a weapon that ensures long-term success. Patience is also an act of faith in yourself. It is a declaration that you trust your abilities, your plan, and your process. It is a refusal to be shaken by temporary failures, external criticism, or the slow pace of progress. When you are patient, you are confident in your trajectory. You don't compare your journey to others because you understand that your path is unique and that your efforts will yield results in their own time. Patience allows you to be unmoved by the noise of those who doubt, the distractions of the world, and the temporary setbacks that test every ambitious soul. It gives you the endurance to keep going when everyone else has given up, and the focus to see the finish line even when it seems invisible. Finally, patience compounds with action. It is not passive waiting. It is deliberate persistence. It is the combination of consistent effort, strategic planning, and mental endurance that transforms dreams into reality. The patient are not idle. They are quietly, relentlessly moving forward, while the impatient are consumed with frustration and distraction. Every hour spent mastering your craft, every day spent improving, every month spent grinding without recognition adds up to an unstoppable force that eventually breaks through every barrier. The results of patience are profound because they are earned, tested, and lasting. In the end, patience is the weapon that allows you to outlast, outwork, and outthink everyone else. It allows you to keep moving when the world doubts you, to stay consistent when results are invisible, and to build an unstoppable momentum over time. Impatience is loud, anxious, and frantic. Patience is silent, deliberate, and unbreakable. It is the quiet force behind every success story, the hidden edge that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. If you can learn to wield patience as a weapon, if you can endure delay without giving up, if you can trust the process and maintain focus when nothing seems to be happening, you will position yourself to achieve greatness in a way that impatient people never will. Patience is not just a virtue, it is a power. It is a strategy. It is a weapon. And in the pursuit of success, those who master it will always rise above. Those who cannot struggle is not a curse. It is not a punishment. It is not a sign that life is against you. Struggle is the proving ground, the forge in which strength is created, the environment where resilience is born. Every person who has achieved greatness has faced struggle, and every person who has fallen short has avoided it, ignored it, or surrendered to it. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is not that one had an easier path. It is that one refused to be broken by the difficulties that life placed in front of them. Struggle is inevitable, but resilience through struggle is optional, and it is what separates ordinary people from the extraordinary. The question is, are you going to allow life to defeat you, or are you going to use struggle as fuel to become unstoppable? Resilience begins with perspective. When life hits hard, when obstacles appear bigger than your confidence, when failure seems constant and relentless, it is easy to feel defeated. But the resilient person understands that struggle is not a roadblock. It is a teacher. It is a lesson in patience, strength, and discipline. It is a test of commitment to your own vision, a challenge to prove that your purpose is greater than your pain. Every failure, every setback, every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to grow, to adapt, and to refine your strategy. Resilience through struggle is the ability to see difficulty not as the end of the journey, but as the beginning of a higher level of mastery. Struggle exposes your weaknesses, and resilience turns those weaknesses into weapons. Life will hit you in ways you cannot anticipate. It will challenge your mind, your body, and your spirit simultaneously. It will place obstacles in your path that seem insurmountable. But every challenge you survive, every hardship you endure, every moment you continue when others quit strengthens you. Resilience is developed in the shadows, in the pain, in the nights when giving up seems easier than continuing. Every struggle you face and push through adds to your mental armor, your emotional toughness, and your capacity to handle even greater challenges in the future. The stronger you become, the less fear has power over you, and the more unstoppable you are in pursuit of your goals. The truth is, no one ever achieved greatness without struggle. There is no shortcut around it, no bypass to success, and no way to avoid the lessons that difficulty teaches. Struggle is universal. It doesn't discriminate. Everyone has to face it. But what separates the resilient from the defeated is how they respond. The defeated allow struggle to define them. They complain, they doubt, they quit, and they blame others. The resilient allow struggle to refine them. They learn, they adapt, they persist, and they grow stronger. Resilience is not born from comfort. It is not born from success. It is forged in the fire of challenge, in the weight of responsibility, and in the relentless pursuit of purpose despite the pain. Resilience also requires emotional control. Struggle brings out raw emotions, anger, frustration, fear, doubt. Most people allow these emotions to dominate their actions. They react impulsively, they lash out, they give up. But resilience is about mastering your inner world even when the outer world is chaotic. It is about maintaining focus, calm, and determination when everything inside you is screaming to quit. It is about making decisions from a place of strength rather than reaction. When you cultivate resilience, you learn to use adversity as a tool rather than a weapon against yourself. You learn that the storm is temporary, but your response can define your future permanently. Another critical aspect of resilience is persistence. Struggle tests your commitment to your goals. It forces you to dig deeper, to push harder, and to continue when progress seems invisible. The resilient do not stop because life is difficult. They do not quit because obstacles appear insurmountable. They continue inch by inch, day by day, relentlessly moving forward regardless of external circumstances. Resilience is the ability to endure for the long haul, to fight through pain, rejection, and failure, knowing that every effort counts and that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your ultimate vision. Struggle also teaches creativity and adaptability. Life will not always present challenges in predictable ways. Resilience allows you to pivot, adjust, and innovate when the standard solutions fail. The person who succumbs to struggle sees only barriers. The resilient person sees possibilities, opportunities, and alternative paths. They are flexible in approach, but unwavering in purpose. They are disciplined in effort, but inventive in strategy. Struggle becomes a teacher of resourcefulness, a crucible for ingenuity, and a battlefield for testing the limits of their own capability. Resilience is contagious. When you push through struggle and maintain focus, determination, and integrity, you not only strengthen yourself, you inspire others. Your life becomes a testament to the power of endurance. People notice those who refuse to be broken by adversity. They are drawn to their confidence, their stability, and their unstoppable drive. Every challenge you overcome not only propels you forward, but creates a ripple effect, showing others that struggle is not something to fear, but something to master. Your resilience becomes a signal to the world. You are unbreakable, and nothing can stop your momentum. Struggle also clarifies priorities. When life is difficult, it forces you to examine what matters most. It cuts through distractions, exposes weaknesses, and highlights the elements of life and work that are essential. Resilience allows you to respond to struggle with intentionality rather than chaos. It teaches you to focus on solutions rather than problems, on growth rather than excuses, and on long-term vision rather than temporary comfort. The stronger your resilience, the more clarity you gain in your mission, and the more disciplined your path becomes. Finally, resilience through struggle develops character. It shapes your values, your ethics, and your identity. When you continue despite difficulty, when you maintain integrity in the face of adversity, and when you persist without complaint, you build a legacy of strength that cannot be erased. Character forged in struggle is unshakable. It is respected. It is admired. It commands attention not through words, but through the consistency of action and the courage to endure. This is the essence of resilience. The ability to take life's harshest challenges and transform them into stepping stones for success, power, and mastery. In the end, struggle is inevitable, but defeat is optional. Resilience through struggle is a conscious choice. It is the decision to keep moving when others stop, to learn when others complain, to endure when others quit, and to grow stronger with every obstacle faced. It is a mindset, a discipline, and a strategy. It is the understanding that the storms of life are temporary, but the strength you gain from them is permanent. If you can embrace struggle as a teacher, use it as fuel, and persist when everything around you wants you to quit, you will achieve what the impatient, the weak, and the distracted cannot even imagine. Resilience through struggle is not just a skill, it is a superpower, a weapon, and the defining difference between those who dream and those who conquer. Self-discipline is the backbone of success. It is the force that allows ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Without discipline, talent is wasted, motivation fades, and goals remain dreams rather than realities. Discipline is not about punishment or restriction. It is about control, mastery, and the ability to do what must be done even when you do not feel like doing it. Every great achievement in history, every personal victory, every story of transformation is rooted in self-discipline. It is the silent engine that drives consistent action, perseverance, and excellence. And without it, even the most passionate intentions crumble under the weight of distraction, temptation, and fatigue. Mastering self-discipline begins with understanding yourself. It begins with recognizing your weaknesses, your impulses, and the habits that sabotage your progress. Most people think discipline is about forcing themselves to work or denying themselves pleasures. That is only half the truth. True self-discipline is about designing your life so that the right choices become automatic, so that you remove temptations, and so that your environment supports the person you are becoming. It is about training your mind to obey your goals before your emotions demand comfort. It is about taking control of the impulses that make you procrastinate, the distractions that steal your focus, and the habits that slowly erode your potential. When you master self-discipline, you are no longer a slave to fleeting feelings, cravings, or external circumstances. You become the architect of your life. Discipline is what allows you to act when motivation is gone. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. One day you feel unstoppable, ready to conquer the world. The next day you feel drained, distracted, and unmotivated. People who rely solely on motivation will fail because life is never consistently inspiring. Discipline bridges the gap between desire and action. It forces you to move forward, even when you do not want to, even when it is inconvenient, even when it is uncomfortable. It is the ability to honor your commitments to yourself above all else, to keep showing up, to keep grinding, and to keep improving when everyone else has given up or settled for mediocrity. Without discipline, dreams remain ideas. With discipline, dreams become reality. Self-discipline also requires delayed gratification. It is the ability to postpone immediate pleasure for long-term gain. The world today is obsessed with instant satisfaction, instant rewards, and easy shortcuts. But mastery, wealth, health, and excellence are built over time through sacrifice and focused effort. Discipline is choosing to stay in the gym when you would rather rest, to work on your craft when others are partying, to study when others are scrolling, to invest effort consistently while others chase temporary thrills. Every act of self-discipline compounds. Every sacrifice strengthens your resolve. Every choice to prioritize growth over comfort sets you apart from the people who are content with average. Mastery of self-discipline turns your willpower into a weapon and your patience into unstoppable momentum. Discipline is also the foundation of consistency. You cannot build habits without it. Habits are the compound interest of success, and discipline is the principle that allows them to grow. Showing up every day, grinding silently, focusing on your priorities, and doing what must be done even when nobody is watching requires an unwavering commitment to self-discipline. It is the difference between giving up after a few days of effort and creating a life of extraordinary accomplishment. Discipline allows you to maintain focus when the work is hard, to persevere when results are slow, and to push beyond limits when the easy path would be to quit. It is the invisible muscle that makes excellence inevitable. Self-discipline also teaches responsibility. When you are disciplined, you take ownership of your actions, your results, and your life. You stop blaming circumstances, other people, or luck for where you are. You understand that every choice you make either moves you closer to your goals or pulls you farther away. Discipline is about making the hard choices, even when they are unpopular or uncomfortable, and accepting the consequences of your actions. It is about understanding that freedom is earned, not given, and that the person who can control themselves in the face of temptation controls their destiny. The disciplined person does not wait for opportunity. They create it through deliberate, focused, and persistent effort. Discipline is tested in moments of fatigue, doubt, and distraction. Life will constantly challenge your commitment. There will be days when you want to quit, when your energy is gone, when obstacles seem too heavy to bear. Most people fold under this pressure. The disciplined rise. They endure. They maintain their focus. They push past pain, fear, and exhaustion. Every time you act despite discomfort, every time you refuse to surrender to weakness, you reinforce your discipline and your capacity for greatness. Self-discipline is a muscle that grows stronger with resistance. The more you practice it in adversity, the more unstoppable you become. Mastering self-discipline also requires vision. Discipline is not about restriction for its own sake. It is about aligning every choice with your purpose. When you know why you are working, when you understand the impact of our efforts, discipline becomes effortless. Your actions are no longer a chore. They are a strategy, a path, a declaration of who you are becoming. Discipline is about creating a life where your decisions, actions, and habits are all in alignment with your ultimate goals. It is about refusing to be distracted, about saying no to the unimportant, and about prioritizing growth over comfort at every turn. Finally, self-discipline builds character. It teaches patience, resilience, courage, and focus. It separates those who merely wish from those who do. Discipline is what turns potential into achievement, effort into results, and dreams into reality. It is silent, invisible, and relentless. Most people will never develop it because it requires discomfort, sacrifice, and a refusal to seek immediate pleasure. But those who master it gain control over their life, their destiny, and their results. They become unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. Self-discipline is not just a skill. It is the cornerstone of every success story, the invisible engine behind every achievement, and the weapon that turns ambition into greatness. When you master self-discipline, nothing can derail you. Distraction becomes powerless. Temptation becomes irrelevant. Obstacles become opportunities to strengthen your resolve. The person who can control themselves becomes a force that cannot be stopped because they are fueled by purpose, guided by focus, and empowered by relentless, disciplined action. In the E and D, self-discipline is not about avoiding struggle, comfort, or failure. It is about mastering yourself so that every challenge, delay, or difficulty becomes fuel for your rise. Mastering self-discipline is the ultimate way to take control of your life, dominate your circumstances, and achieve what others only dream of. Many people chase attention, validation, and recognition before they've earned it. They want to be seen, admired, and celebrated while they are still learning, still growing, still putting in the work that nobody watches. The world rewards results, not promises. It rewards execution, not intention. It rewards action, not excuses. Letting results make the noise means committing to the grind in silence, letting your effort accumulate, and allowing your achievements to speak louder than any words, any brag, or any attempt to impress. It is the ultimate discipline, the silent power that separates those who talk about greatness from those who actually create it. Success is loud because it is undeniable. When your results emerge, they cannot be ignored, criticized, or discounted. Results are proof, and proof silences doubt. To let results make the noise, you must first understand the value of silence. The world is obsessed with visibility. People post their intentions, their plans, their dreams, and their aspirations without ever putting in the work. They want praise before progress. They want applause before action. But the person who understands the power of rest also knows that noise is cheap and achievement is priceless. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is the choice to focus on execution rather than discussion, on building rather than bragging, and on producing measurable impact rather than chasing approval. When you commit to working in silence, your energy is conserved, your focus is sharpened, and your results eventually erupt with a force that is undeniable. Results are the ultimate form of credibility. People can question your talent, your vision, your potential, but they cannot argue with tangible results. When you let your results speak, you remove the need to justify yourself, explain your journey, or convince anyone of your worth. Results command respect automatically. They demand attention without effort. They are the loudest voice in the room because they cannot be fabricated or dismissed. To let results make the noise is to commit to building undeniable proof of your capabilities while remaining patient, disciplined, and silent throughout the process. This is what separates mediocrity from mastery, the talkers from the doers, and the dreamers from the achievers. Letting results make the noise also requires focus. You cannot achieve greatness if your energy is scattered across multiple distractions, opinions, and external pressures. You must identify your priorities, set your goals, and pour everything into executing them. Every hour spent worrying about what people think, seeking approval, or posting for a 10, is an hour stolen from your progress. Results are born from concentrated, consistent effort, and the more focused you are, the faster your impact grows. Discipline, consistency, patience, and focus are the unseen forces behind the visible explosion of results. The person who understands this invests in invisible work, knowing that the payoff will be undeniable when the time is right. This principle also builds humility. The person who lets results make the noise does not boast, exaggerate, or create false impressions. They do not need validation to feel worthy because their actions are already producing proof. Humility allows you to work quietly, steadily, and persistently while others seek shortcuts, attention, or quick praise. Humility coupled with results is a powerful combination because it allows you to focus on what actually matters, impact, rather than what feels temporarily satisfying, approval. When the world sees your achievements, they will respect your journey, your discipline, and your resilience, and that respect will come without you ever having to ask for it. The principle also teaches patience. You cannot expect results to appear overnight, no matter how hard you work. The process requires consistency, effort, and endurance. Every small action compounds into momentum, and every moment of persistence builds toward outcomes that will eventually speak louder than any words you could ever say. The impatient fail because they want the noise before the results. The disciplined succeed because they understand that results are earned, not declared. Every day you grind in silence. Every hour you pour into your craft, every sacrifice you make is a step toward creating results that are undeniable, inevitable, and explosive in their impact. Results also protect your credibility and legacy. Words are fleeting. Opinions are subjective. Praise is temporary, but achievements are permanent. When your work produces measurable outcomes, your influence grows organically, your reputation solidifies, and your impact becomes undeniable. People will remember your results long after conversations, debates, and opinions have faded. Letting results make the noise is about building a legacy that cannot be erased, a reputation that is immune to gossip, doubt, and criticism, and a life that is defined by accomplishments rather than empty promises. Another critical aspect of this principle is resilience in silence. When you focus on results rather than noise, you learn to ignore criticism, setbacks, and temporary failures. You stop reacting to people who doubt you, and you stop allowing distractions to pull you off course. You become unshakable because your energy is devoted entirely to creating tangible outcomes. You grind when nobody is watching. You persist when nobody believes. You build silently, and when the results emerge, they are unstoppable, undeniable, and louder than any voice that once tried to discourage you. Results also create opportunity. Woo! When you achieve, doors open naturally. People seek you out, recognition comes, and influence grows. But this happens not because you chase attention, but because your impact cannot be ignored. Letting results make the noise transforms your work into a signal that attracts opportunities, partnerships, and success without having to shout, advertise, or force approval. The world rewards action and achievement, not talking and bragging. Those who understand this principle operate quietly, consistently, and intentionally, knowing that the explosion of results will announce them far louder than any self-promotion ever could. Finally, letting results make the noise is about self-mastery. It is about controlling your actions, focus, and energy to prioritize execution over attention. It is about cultivating patience, discipline, resilience, and consistency until your work produces undeniable proof of your ability and commitment. It is about understanding that your journey is defined not by what you say, but by what you accomplish. When you let results speak, you become unstoppable because the world cannot argue with what you have created. Your impact, your achievements, and your legacy become louder than any words ever could. If you want to achieve greatness, if you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want your life to be undeniable, you must let results make the noise. Work relentlessly, grind silently, persevere when others quit, and trust that your efforts will compound into outseed. Ohms that command attention. Results are proof. Results are power. Results are the ultimate voice of achievement. And when you let them speak, nothing and no one can silence you. Now you understand. You understand that greatness is never about the applause, the likes, the attention, or the validation from anyone else. It is about what you do when nobody is watching, when the world doubts you, and when the obstacles feel too heavy to bear. Striving in silence is not a weakness. It is a declaration. It is a statement that your focus is sharper than the noise around you, that your vision is stronger than the distractions trying to pull you away, and that your determination is unshakable no matter how long the road is. You are building, grinding, and creating in the shadows because you know that results, not words, are the ultimate measure of your power. You are not here to be loud. You are here to be relentless. And when your moment comes, the world will hear your roar without you ever having to scream. Every step you take in silence, every sacrifice you make, every hour you grind without recognition is a deposit into your future. It is a reminder that nothing worth having comes without effort, patience, and endurance. The people around you will doubt, they will criticize, and they will question your choices, but their opinions are irrelevant. What matters is your commitment to yourself, your discipline to stay the course, and your ability to persevere when the easy path is to quit. This is where champions are born, in the quiet moments of struggle, in the unseen hours of preparation, and in the relentless pursuit of excellence that refuses to wait for permission or applause. Striving in silence also gives you freedom. Freedom from distractions, freedom from comparison, and freedom from the need for external approval. It allows you to focus solely on your mission, to pour your energy into what truly matters, and to build a life that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks or external noise. Every time you choose action over attention, focus over distraction, and persistence over excuses, you are sharpening your edge. You are becoming the kind of person who cannot be ignored, because your results, your growth, and your achievements will eventually speak louder than any words ever could. Remember, the world will always be noisy. There will always be people chasing recognition, trying to validate themselves through applause and seeking shortcuts instead of doing the work. But you, the person who chooses to grind in silence, to endure when others quit, and to stay disciplined when the temptation is to give up, you will rise above, you will outlast, you will outperform. And when your results finally emerge, when your success becomes undeniable, you will not have to explain yourself. The world will recognize your greatness without question, because it cannot deny the proof of your relentless action, your unwavering commitment, and your refusal to settle for anything less than extraordinary. So grind in silence, build quietly, fight relentlessly. Let your results, your impact, and your life make the noise. Strive when nobody is watching, work when nobody believes, and persist when the world expects you to fail. Your time is coming. Your moment is inevitable. And when it arrives, the world will have no choice but to see, respect, and acknowledge